Hi boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 5.7, Pyramids. The materials that you'll need today, notebook paper, pencil, your math journal, and your template. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is go over our math box page from the previous lesson. So if you can open up your math journal to page 126. If you're noticing that you have any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. For the first question, count by 1,000. So we started at 1,300, so then we have 2,300, 3,300, 4,300, 5,300, 6,300, 7,300, and 8,300. For question 2, match quarters to cents. So if I have 5 quarters, that would match to 125 cents. If I have 6 quarters, that would be 150 cents. If I have 7 quarters, that would be 175 cents. And if I have 10 quarters, that would be 250 cents. For question 3, the ways to get to school, how many children walk to school? And I can see from my graph that 8 children walk to school. For question 4, solve. So we know that 3 plus 5 equals 8. So 30 plus 50 equals 80. 300 plus 500 equals 800. Then we're looking at 6 plus 8, which we know is 14. So 60 plus 80 equals 140. And 600 plus 800 equals 1,400. The unit that I chose today were bugs. For question 5, buy a model dinosaur for 37 cents and pay with 2 quarters. I know that 2 quarters equals 50 cents, so if I start at 37, 3 more cents would take me to 40, and then 40 plus 10 would bring me to 50, for a total of 13 cents for my change. For question 6, 4 children share 12 slices of pizza equally. How many slices does each child get? Draw a picture. I just made an array at the bottom for my picture. Your picture maybe looks very different than mine, and that's okay. But what I did is I divided my 4 children, and I gave each of them 3 slices, or gave them, yes, each 3 slices to divide up the 12 equally. So each child gets 3 slices. So double check to make sure that you have yours correct before moving on to the next slide. So for the next slides, we'll use notebook paper or a whiteboard and marker if available. If the speed is ever too fast, please pause as often as needed. So for this question, I'm asking you to continue the count and to write down the next 3 numbers. So if I have 1,496, 1,497, 1,498, could you write down the next 3 numbers? Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. So the next number that I would have would be 1,499. Then after 99, I'm moving on to my next 100. So then I would have 1,500 and then 1,501. We'll work more on continuing counts in future lessons. I have a couple find the sum problems that I would like you to solve today. So could you pause the video and solve 63 plus 24 and also solve 37 plus 41 in either your notebook or on your whiteboard. Press pause now. All right, second graders. So I know that 60 plus 20 is 80, and I know that 3 plus 4 is 7. So my total would be 87. I'm going to think the same way for my next one. When I'm adding 37 plus 41, I know that 30 plus 40 is 70, and I know that 7 plus 1 is 8, giving me a total of 78. I have 2 more problems for you. For this next one, 48 plus 36 and 79 plus 66, I'm going to show you how to solve those with more of the traditional way of stacking them. So why don't you press pause and then play when you're ready to check. So for this one, I know that 8 plus 6 equals 14. So what I'm going to do is I am going to carry my 1. So I put my 1 right above the 4, and I put my 4 below. Now I'm going to add 4 plus 3, which is 7, plus 1 more is 8, giving me a total of 84. For the next one, I have 79 plus 66. I know that 9 plus 6 is 15. So I need to put a 1 on top of the 7, and I'm going to put my 5 below. Now I can solve 7 plus 6 plus 1, which I know would be 14, and I can write that right next to each other, giving me the answer of 145. And we'll continue with problems like this in future lessons. A little bit more with our whiteboards today. So I'm showing you the shape of a triangular pyramid. I know that it's a triangular pyramid because it has a triangle at the bottom. So what I'm going to ask you to think about is how many faces, edges, and vertices does this triangular pyramid have? When I'm talking about faces, I'm talking about the flat parts. When I'm talking about edges, I'm talking about the line segments. And the vertices are like the points. Can you press pause to try to solve and then play when you're ready to check? All right, second graders. So when I'm counting the faces, I know that I have 3 going around, plus I have 1 in the bottom, giving me a total of 4 faces. When I'm counting my edges, so I have 3 edges along the bottom, plus I have 3 going around, 3 plus 3 is 6, giving me 6 edges. When I'm counting my vertices, I have 3 points at the bottom, and I have 1 on top for a total of 4 vertices. Let's try 2 more problems like that. So now this time I have a square pyramid. Can you record how many faces, edges, and vertices you see? Press pause and play when you're ready to check. So again, the faces are the flat parts. So this time with a square, I know that I have 4 going around, plus I have 1 on the bottom, giving me a total of 5 faces. For my edges, I have 4 going around, and then I also have 4 edges on the bottom. 4 plus 4 is 8 for 8 edges. For my vertices, I have 4 along the bottom, plus I have 1 on top when it comes to that point, giving me a total of 5 vertices. We'll try one more. This one is a hexagonal pyramid because if you look at the bottom, the base, it's a hexagon. So a hexagon has 6 sides. So can you try to think about how many faces, edges, and vertices this pyramid has? Press pause and play when you're ready to check. All right, second graders. So since it has 6 sides, I know that there's 6 faces going around, plus there's 1 on the bottom. So I know that there's a total of 7 faces. For my edges, I know that there's 6 edges going around, and then also 6 edges along the bottom. 6 plus 6 is 12, giving me 12 edges. For my vertices, I know that there's 6 along the bottom, plus 1 on top for 7 vertices. All right. The last thing that we'll do, so we'll put our whiteboard or our notebook to the side and we'll talk about math boxes. So our math box page is page 127. I'm going to talk about the directions, then I'll ask that you complete the page on your own. When you're all done, take a picture and add that picture to Seesaw for your classroom teacher. We'll go over this page in our next video. So looking at question number 1, how many cubes do you see? Then cross out 14 cubes. Tell me how many are left, and then write a number model. For question 2, complete the number grid with the missing numbers. For question 3, use your ruler, draw a line segment, label it AB, and then tell me how long that is. For question 4, this is a trapezoid. Put an X on the line segments that are parallel. For question 5, how many dots are in this 5 by 4 array? Count by fives and then circle the best answer. And for our last question, number 6, there might be a few different answers that you could have for this one, but so write 3 names for 15. Try to think of 2 different ways to do that. And then for the last one, come up with another way to equal 15, but one of your numbers has to be 9. All right, I will see you next time.